Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 23rd of July. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Sally Zellman.
And Sally, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show for a whole variety of reasons of which we don't need to go through. Because you're fabulous, you're beautiful, you're highly intelligent, you're charismatic. But it's always great to have you on the show. Certainly you bring a crisp and intellectual approach to this show. And you're just so much easier to do it with than Gary.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Keep talking.
You're a natural to this. And by the way, Sal, the camera loves you.
Well, thank you.
Tell you what, I don't know what your health regime is, Sal, but clearly it must be a lot of broccoli, a lot of water, and early nights. Is that the secret behind your beauty?
I live a very quiet life, and of course that is broccoli and plenty of sleep.
Well, I don't think you lead a quiet life at all. Viewers, you may not know this, and I'm not going to give away Sally's age, but even though she looks younger than me, she's actually older, and yet she performs at the most senior of levels. In fact, Sal, I've seen the stats on you. You would be in the top 1% of operators in Australia. So yeah, well, you knew it. You just like hearing it. But the reality is, you do it whilst looking after your son and his wife, your four beautiful grandchildren, and of course your demanding husband.
Yes, that's correct.
Anyway, Sal, good to have you on the show. We're in the middle of winter. What are your thoughts?
Well, look at our beautiful day to start with. Another beautiful day in Melbourne, so very exciting.
Yep. What's going on? You tend to do a lot of work at the top end of the market.
I do, yes.
Having said that, viewers, nothing for Sally to sell a one-bedroom apartment as well. But let's talk about the top end of the market.
Okay. The winter's been a little quiet, but I'm very excited about the spring. I can see we've got some really good stuff. Really good quality.
But still looks like going to be a quiet spring.
Well, compared to what we've known in the past, very much so. But you and I both know there's a number of different really good properties coming up. But at the moment, we'll say relatively quiet.
So we won't release these properties yet, viewers, but Sally, Darren and the team have been working on some beautiful properties in the heart of the Golden Mile.
Really exciting.
So for the first time in many months, we're going to get some great properties to the marketplace. It's kind of funny, though, how much work we're not doing on the weekend.
Tell me about it.
The open inspections down everywhere.
Well, don't know what to do with myself on the weekend, especially on Sundays. I mean, what do you want to do? Go for lunch?
Well, it's funny because I did have Sunday off, and I've got to tell you, I was exhausted all. The funniest part about it, I was exhausted all day. I needed to sleep.
Yes.
I had a nap on Sunday afternoon. I said to Irene, I don't know, do normal people with weekends off all the time, do they have to have a sleep every Saturday and Sunday afternoon?
I think so, but you've got to admit, we just get off on that energy, that excitement, that enthusiasm.
All that adrenaline.
And the adrenaline.
The medical community would say that all the cortisol levels that run through our systems are not good for us, but let's talk about something that is good for us, which is our 100% auction clearance rate. Now the industry sale came in at 74%. So massive shout out, massive congratulations to the industry, because 74% this time last year.
There's some energy happening, some things happening.
It does, but this time last year the industry was clearing about 50% to 55%. So at a 74% clearance, that's incredible. But of course, our tower's up just very briefly, 100% versus 74%. So we've done it again. But truthfully, Sal, how many auctions did we have?
3. Not enough.
I'm kind of almost embarrassed to skite about our 3 auctions. Having said that,
some people generally have 3 every week, and it's usually a top number.
That's true. I just want to have a quick look at one that Leo Samuel, our partner down in our Carnegie office, had, because he had the most fantastic sale.
Well, what an auction. Unbelievable. 5 bidders going for it. Reserve 800,000, we smashed it out of the park, 962,500 the eventual selling price. I am so thrilled for my vendors. What an auction, what a turnout, what a great result.
Sally, let's talk about the strength of the market. Nothing shows it more than Leo Samuel in the Carnegie's office in Grandview, Grove, a townhouse. Wait for this, viewers. An $800,000 reserve sold for $962,500.
Yes.
Now, Sally, we cop a bit of flack from week to week from viewers. And viewers, we encourage all sorts of constructive criticism, whether it's good, bad or ugly.
Correct.
But we had somebody that sent us an email last week saying, please unsubscribe me from GPTV,
Yes.
so which is pretty, like that's a statement.
Absolutely.
And they were offended by our headline of last week's GPTV, which was a 10% property jump in price. Did that just happen? So I'm not sure that we categorically said it happened, but we've had so many auctions over the last 4 weeks where we've got increased over reserve by more than 10%.
Correct.
So viewers, if you watched last week's edition, we talked about a 10% increase. Did we say it was right across the board? No. But did we say that it was a pattern that's
trend.
emerging?
There's a
Absolutely.
trend. Yeah.
And there you have a reserve of 800 sold for 962.5, which
there
is
you go. That's
obviously
evidence.
well, it's well in excess.
Yes.
Even the auction that I did in Robe Street, which didn't quite sell for 10% over, I think it sold for about 8% over. If
Still
I do the
excellent.
maths, a very small 2-bedroom apartment where we had a quote
small.
range of 410
Yes.
to 450. The reserve was 450, and we sold that for $480,500.
Yes.
There is no question, viewers, something's happening.
Of course.
Yeah, we're seeing
People
the
are out
demand.
there is a demand.
Are you
Absolutely.
seeing it right across
There
all
is.
of the things
There
that
is
you're
definitely
doing?
a demand, whereas the last few months it was quiet. Nothing was right. Nobody was really interested, but it's a turnaround.
Yeah,
And you and I know we've been doing it for a long time, and
have.
we've seen this all happen before.
Absolutely. So when we say this 10% increase, it's interesting, and we call this post-election. We've all said that the phone started ringing literally the day after the election, but with the election result, with the APRA announcement of releasing the purse strings to the banks,
Yes.
and now 2 interest rate cuts, there's no question that a buyer has more money to spend from a borrowing point of view.
Correct. Yes.
So I think we're going to see a strong spring. Whether we'll see the volume come back this year, probably not. But at
agreed.
least we're seeing some activity.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a seller, Sal,
Yes.
if you're a seller that's kind of watched the market for the last 18 months,
Yes.
you would have seen over the last 18 months, other than the last 3 months, properties pass in. I think the more the community, the more people and the neighbours come to auctions where they're seeing 3, 4 and 5 bidders, they'll be going home around the dinner table saying that the property market's picked up. And I think these things become self-fulfilling propositions. What do you think?
I think it gives people more confidence also to think that now possibly is the time, if you've been sitting on the fence waiting to see what's happened. We've had the elections, we're moving forward, and there's no reason why this spring shouldn't pay, good result. Dividends,
no,
exactly what I was
so.
thinking. Yes.
Speaking of good results, we talked about the sales meeting yesterday about what I'm watching.
Okay.
And I want to share this with the viewers because you haven't had a chance to watch it
didn't.
yet.
I will be tonight.
We sat down over the weekend and watched the last quarter, which is the documentary about Adam Goods. And viewers, all I can say is that this is, if you watch one thing this year, you must watch the last quarter
I'm
because
going to do
it's fascinating. It really gives us an insight into the treatment of not only just Indigenous players in the AFL, but Indigenous people full stop. So I would urge every single viewer of GPTV, and I'm going to talk about this in my social group. We've talked about it at work. We said in the sales meeting yesterday that whilst I said I can't make people watch it, but I think the more people that watch this, I think it's possibly one of the most important pieces of Australian television in years. So that's my plug. What are you watching, Sal? You got anything that you're watching?
I've watched a few Netflix series.
That's the way real estate agents relax.
How to waste a bit of time.
Yeah. Anything in particular?
There's been a few that I've watched. I watched Babylon Berlin.
I couldn't get into that. Yeah.
It was a German one.
I'll have another crack.
Schnitzel. Is that how you say it?
Schnitzel. Yeah,
Sounds like schnitzel.
That's old, Sal. We're going to move.
I know.
We're going to
won't
move
go
right
that one.
ahead with things that are more contemporary and more fascinating, like this week's auctions.
Yeah, that's more interesting.
Our last quiet weekend, so the last weekend of July, will see us with only, let's have a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 auctions. So this Thursday, Sal, we've got a block of apartments in Moodie Street, East Caulfield. Talk us through that.
That's an exciting block. It's on 981 square metres and there's 5 apartments.
Actually 4 apartments and a villa, which is really interesting.
That's
so
unusual.
This is a really good block because it's on a very large parcel of land, and it's 2 2-bedroom apartments, 2 3-bedroom apartments, and a single-storey villa, all in need of some refurbishment, although it's in what I would describe as excellent condition. Great long-term investment. We've
Good
sold
for super funds too, isn't it?
Fantastic. In fact, I reckon the last 20 blocks of apartments we've sold between $2 and $5 million have all been bought for people for long-term acquisition, whether it's through the superannuation vehicle or through just private savings. The reality is these make great generational investments, and we talk about them as generational investments because if you think about it, there's a lot of families that have owned this for 40 years, and I reckon we'll sell this one and somebody will put this into the portfolio. So come along to that on Thursday. So Sally, what for us is a quiet weekend might be another agency's busy weekend. We've got 2 auctions on Saturday and 3 auctions on Sunday. Yes. Let's talk about the first one, which is in Ludbrook Avenue, a favourite street of Caulfield South.
That's a great one. That's a beautiful house. It's a 3-bedroom home in a great location. This one will go really well.
It should. We move on from there to really just round the corner, so I'm not going to be doing much driving this Saturday. Number 2B, Beltane Avenue in Brighton East.
Gorgeous unit, really nice. 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom and 2 car parks.
Single story, always hard to get those, and some wonderful courtyard garden wrapping right around there. So I think that should go well. Moving on Sunday at 6 at 48 Hill Street in Bentleigh East.
Great little location there, not far from Centre Road. It's really good. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, newish one on this one.
Tell me, have you been down Centre Road in recent times from a social point of view?
I shop down there.
Do you? Well, all I can tell you is that it's Cafe City down there now. It's just, what's going on there is just incredible. And as they build more apartment buildings in the streets that come off Centre Road, that means more people shopping in the strip, more activity, more life. Centre Road, Bentleigh, we've long said that anything around there is great real estate.
That's why we have a great office there.
Well, we do, and shout out to Leon Goosenfitter and the team, but wonderful property. We move from there back to the St Kilda East Hood, apartment 5 at 210 Inkerman Street.
This is also a really good apartment, 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. This one's going to go really well.
It should do, because either a first home buyer or an investor will buy there and live happily ever after. Speaking of living happily ever after, one of my favourite streets of Caulfield North has long been Carinya Crescent.
Carinya,
and a shout out to, and you're going to take us through this, but Avi Milder, architect.
He's the architect.
Some of Caulfield's best work was done by Avi Milder, and he's still doing great work. Tell us about this property.
Can I just say that Avi has a certain handwriting that's most distinguishable, and people absolutely adore it. So well done to you.
Big family home there on a compact block.
Compact block, 4 to 5 bedrooms, pool, just put the key in the door, move in.
Well,
really nice.
Double garage, big entertaining areas, swimming pool, courtyard gardens, a really good low maintenance home, walking distance to the Alma Village, and where there are now 4 cafes, Sal, just
not that
next
far from
door to our
Glenferrie
office.
Road either. You
walk
could
to
walk
Glenferrie Road.
there.
It's long been a popular spot, Carinya Crescent. Sal, whilst July has been quiet, August, September is looking like it's picking up, and the thing that I think that we can draw a conclusion on is that the market pricing has picked up, but the volume is not matching the pricing. And we talk about market depth and the understanding of auction depth. And I think this is something that viewers need to understand, is that even in a bad market, we can sell a property where there's just one buyer.
Exactly.
But when we talk about the health of a market, it's always, when we talk about the health, is how many buyers do we have on a property and how many put up their hands. And it's really clear now that there's not one buyer anymore or two. We're seeing 3, 4, 5, 6 buyers across a whole multitude of properties. Quick summarisation of your team, Sal. Darren's away.
I've got the best team.
You do. Take us through your team.
Darren Krongold has been my partner for, I think, nearly 16 years. We pride ourselves on the fact that we've never had an argument. Not like with our spouses, but the two of us get on exceptionally well.
That's right. You go home and pay out on poor Hennick.
That's it.
And he pays out on Hayley, but the two of you are...
No, we're great. We're different generations, but we have a wonderful relationship.
And your further team of 3, we've got Daniel Fisher, who's been with you for many years.
10 years, great guy.
And great to have that that energy of youth with Daniel Fisher and experience with you, but ably supported by Idan. And then, of course, the power behind the entire operation.
Eliza, that's it. She's the one. So, having said that, can I just tell you something that's happening in my life?
Well, go on. Okay. We may well edit this out.
You may, but
not.
okay. So, In 1953.
1953.
Don't say me. I was, anyway.
Yes.
My family moved to Kew.
Right.
And over
From
the
where?
years, they actually lived in Coburg, or Queensland before that, but they lived in Coburg.
So Queensland to
Coburg.
This is a lovely story of getting on.
Yeah.
So go on.
So my family moved to Kew.
1953.
And
yeah.
over the many years that I've worked in real estate, every now and then I'd bump into someone from my childhood, from my time. And we all greeted each other as long lost relatives.
As Kewites or something.
Kewites,
Yeah.
So one morning I woke up and I said, you know what, I'd like to have a little reunion for all those folks. So I put it out there to invite people if they'd like to come on Facebook. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but I didn't have that many people reply. But over the last few weeks, I've had a lot of people reply now who are very excited.
Yes.
And they said they'd love to join me. So on August the 25th.
August the 25th.
7 o'clock.
Yes, 7 o'clock.
But you have to reply to me at sallyz@garypeer.com.au.
We'll put it up on screen.
Yes.
Yep.
And let me know if you would like to attend. And just a reunion, and it's basically in memory of our families.
So just a quick plug for Gary Peer and Associates is that we're hosting it
you
for
are
you
hosting it, yes.
at our project marketing
Very
division,
kind.
which also operates as our hospitality centre, and it's going to be from 7 o'clock.
Yeah, till
there's
9.
going to be drinks, there's going to be food, and of course there's no payment involved.
No,
just
no.
if you grew up in
But
Kew,
I do need something.
What do you
I
need?
need 2 photos.
2 photos.
I need a photo of youth, of childhood, and one today.
So a before and after photo.
Who you are married
not
to.
done through the Russian app, is it?
No. Who you are married to or who you were married to. How many children and grandchildren.
Okay, so a brief bio, a photo from the 50s or 60s or 70s.
Yes.
And a photo of now,
yes.
who your current partner is, and
who your old boyfriend or girlfriend was when you were 12.
Children are. So I'm thinking, how many people do you think you're going to get?
I reckon we'll get about 100.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Wow.
I've got about 60 people who basically said to me, I'd love to come. So I'm very excited about it.
What a great thing to do. And
nice.
Again, because I just can't help plugging, since we've had this project marketing division in this beautiful centre in Balaclava Road, which is on the corner of Stanley Street, 198 Balaclava Road, for all of your project needs. If you're thinking about buying an apartment, come along. But it's so nice because it's now an entertaining centre.
That's
We're
right.
now having
and we're
60,
going to
70,
do
80 people here.
Thank you.
And
I have to say thank you for your hospitality.
We are looking for a sponsor, so it's free to those that come. But if there's somebody from Coke or from Toyota watching, and you want to tap into your target market, we're
if you
looking
lived
for a sponsor.
in Kew.
Yeah, that's it. And we won't make the joke about
I knew you were
whether
going to
you
say
live
near
near Kew or.
Yes.
But we won't say that joke because it's an oldie but a goodie. Still makes me laugh. Sal, always great to have you on GPTV.
Thank you. It's been terrific.
And one thing I will say, viewers, one of the most delightful things about working with you, Sally, is that age does not play any role in real estate, because we've got some 20-somethings and 30-somethings that work in sales that can't keep up with you. So long may I take your energy.
Thank you.
Steal your energy. I'm an energy stealer. Sal, great to have you on.
Thank you.
We look forward to August, September, October kicking in when the spring
selling
season picks up. Viewers, thanks for watching. I'm Philip Kingston.
And I'm Sally Zellman.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.